Let's go ahead and get started. A little bit of housekeeping before we do. All the attendees are all muted. We are going to record this webinar and plan to post this online at a later date. Please do send any questions or comments that come to mind throughout the presentation through the Q&A tab. You should see that at the top of the interface. We will not likely have time to address all questions during the webinar, but we'll absolutely reach out to anyone who submits a question and make sure we give you answers in due order. And as we get started, a brief agenda. This will be a fairly short webinar. We'll wrap up within 30 minutes. You should not expect this to be a deep technical dive. We're going to cover, who is ETRAGE, what we do, some of our core capabilities as it relates to cloud hosting, some of the key features about, especially around support, which are required for cloud hosting of Windchill to be successful and effective for customers. And we'll finish with a set of pre-drafted FAQs. A little bit about me, and again, I'm very happy to be here and grateful for our attendees that have joined us. I've been in the PTC ecosystem for 8 years now, often called upon to be a licensing expert, to help people fine-tune, not just right-size their licenses, but to identify which licenses are actually needed for particular business purposes. And my favorite part of what I do in the PTC space, the ability to go on site, meet with designers, meet with manufacturers, identify processes, prioritize solutions, based on what business needs do you have and what are current processes costing you in time, effort, or actual dollars. And again, my contact information will be posted at the end of the webinar. Please do reach out to me directly with any and all questions, not just cloud related, but anything in the larger PTC, PLM, ETRAGE ecosystem. Starting our introduction about ETRAGE, and we'll have a few slides on this topic. We've been around since 2001. That's more than 20 years, more than 2 decades in the PTC space as a PTC development partner. We have a number of out-of-the-box applications we've developed, which we'll cover in later slides. Our mission is to make sure we're very customer-centric, and that involves, helping customers to integrate their disparate systems, to migrate design data, to automate processes, automate the flow of data, and then extend PLM, especially around Windchill, to all parts of the organization outside of engineering. We do this successfully because we're very customer-centric. We pay close attention to the feedback we get from customers and the due diligence we do to ask around specific business requirements on a case-by-case basis. More about ETRAGE. This is a summary highlighting of our products and related services. The core of this includes the ETRAGE viewer and the ETRAGE plot service for Windchill. And then we have a number of enhancements and add-on applications around these 2 core products, the viewer and the PSW. Some of those add-ons and enhancements include the document management system, the drawing note search, integration with SharePoint, amongst other tools for integration, bulk loading of data to make data migration safer, easier, faster, cost-effective, and then integration with ERP systems. And of course, on the services side, we'll cover a lot of that today around Windchill, remote support, upgrades, customizations, cloud hosting, and then training for a number of things on the both CAD and PLM side of the PTC space. A little bit about our customers. We've highlighted a few of our longtime customers here on the screen. In addition to that, I like to ask the question, what makes a good candidate to be an ETRAGE customer? We work with anyone in the design space, in the manufacturing space, all sizes of customers. We've chosen to highlight some of the larger ones for name recognition, but we work with all sizes of customers. Anyone who needs to share data, automate processes, automate how data is shared, integrate systems. If you have multiple systems and you need to find a way to bridge the gaps between those systems, we are an outstanding resource. This all gets around the concept of that complete digital thread. We've really carved a niche for ourselves, enabling companies to complete that digital thread. Who is ETRAGE on the staff side? So, 23 years of continuous experience on the Windchill side as a PTC development partner, and within that time, 18 years of cloud hosting experience and expertise. The staff that does this work, we have 15 resources domestically on the cloud and Windchill support side, and double that internationally outside of the US on the cloud and Windchill support side. In addition to these staff members, we have a dedicated 15 individuals who do our continuous ETRAGE and Windchill application development and maintenance. Now, the main event, the key things that we're here to talk about today, cloud hosting for Windchill. So what is Windchill hosted cloud? First and foremost, cloud hosting is a dedicated service that we provide to customers who are using PTC's PLM product, Windchill, and the number of add-on modules available to Windchill. We provide a state-of-the-art cloud-hosted and dedicated hosted environment. It tends to be customized by customer. There really are no two Windchill instances that are completely identical. We provide a global reach. Some of the benefits and values that come with this, we're powered by AWS. We have 20 years of experience managing these systems. What makes us very successful is that we hear customer needs, we keep that customer-centric approach, and we apply that to the architecture we've already built out through our years of experience. Some of the key capabilities in the space, and again, this gets back to what does each individual Windchill customer need if we're going to host their environment on our cloud space. That often starts the discussion with your IT staff. Where Windchill is successful because it's an obsessively flexible tool, we're successful because we're likewise obsessively flexible. SQL is the most common database used. A number of our customers require Oracle. Some customers have gone the Linux route. We make all these options possible. Flexibility, most customers that use cloud and use Windchill and use Windchill extensively is a multi-CAD environment. So we need to maintain a staff that can support you with your multi-CAD needs and your Windchill customizations. Security, this more than ever has come up in the last 18 months. And maybe even going back to the tail end of the COVID years, new requirements I've been noticing coming from cyber insurance companies, and customers many times on short notice have to apply SSO, two-factor, and other security measures. And last, the ability to connect to ERP systems. We need to get a lot of information from you and work with your teams to make that happen. Just like no Windchill instance is going to be the same across two customers, no ERP integration is going to be exactly the same between two customers. Some key details around infrastructure and features. And again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is intended to be a presentation around the core things that make us successful as a cloud hosting solution. That includes disaster recovery with multiple redundancies, full backup stored off-site out of the main system, maintenance and monitoring of publishers, routine testing of performance to make sure performance is never going to be noticeably diminished. The extensiveness of our support, both business side, end user side, administrative, it all needs to be available. Security patches for emergency situations when new vulnerabilities are detected, and we work with you to provide an SLA. Any new cloud hosting engagement is going to begin with a series of interviews and discussions. Usually it starts with IT. And once we get all of your feedback, we're able to provide a customized SLA for every customer. Data migration. Any move to the cloud for Windchill is going to involve some sort of data migration, unless you are a startup with no pre-existing data. The most common thing is to take an existing Windchill environment, pick it up, relocate it to our cloud. That tends to be a very short and routine data migration. If we're going to take your environment from an existing cloud-hosted location to our ETRAGE cloud-hosted solution, that is similar to an on-premise to cloud move. If you are not in Windchill, you have data in a number of potential locations, both secured or unsecured. That is where we need to do a lot of due diligence, get sample data from you, and develop a plan. We typically use some of our own proprietary bulk loading tools to make that as pain-free and efficient of a process as possible. Some of the most commonly asked questions I receive when I meet with customers, especially with their IT staff around cloud. Historically, the default, and before cloud became popular, the only solution was to host Windchill on premise. That has changed a great deal in the last 10 years. What are some of the advantages of cloud versus on premise? First off, I like to say the world is understaffed. I'm yet to find a customer who has enough IT staff to maintain everything they want to do and need to do. If you are adding a new implementation, the idea of finding a new experienced IT staffer or retraining existing IT staff can be daunting because, again, everyone is short on time and the world is understaffed. So relying on our extensive veteran team of experts lets you bypass some of those, not just costs, but things that will cost you time in being ready to launch Windchill. The experience we have in creating reliable offsite backups, the fact that we have an extensive team with dozens of individuals, we're able to use our experienced bandwidth to service dozens of customers. There's an economies of scale that comes with the concentrated expertise that we have on the cloud and Windchill side. And of course, that also goes to the end user administrative support. So compared to an on-premise implementation, often the high upfront cost in adding servers, in training staff, or going out finding and hiring new staff, physical space requirements, especially as you scale up and grow your enterprises. Cloud is remarkably scalable, not just for the long-term constant growth, but also for customers that need to take on a large project short-term and then scale back down once that project is completed. A word on remote support is really this is part of what makes a cloud implementation successful, that you are not abandoned and on your own, that we are a dedicated partner you're going to be working with and relying upon, potentially on a daily basis, depending on the size of your team, the complexity of your operations, and the complexity of your business requirements. So some of the things that we do: routine recurring maintenance tasks, emergency maintenance tasks if some new vulnerability is announced and revealed by PTC, our own scripts and proprietary tools for proactive monitoring, logging into your system with our own team and doing performance tests. And then the availability of our ticket system so that yourself, your admins, your end users can submit whatever problem has arisen and have a reply from a local resource in short order. Wrapping this up, just a couple more slides to go. Frequently asked questions. So is your cloud offering a SaaS product? No, it certainly is not. What we provide is a cloud hosting service We host your Windchill environment on our system. Why does that work out well? Well, because we have not just the staff, but the experience to build out a reliable system and then customize that to your needs. A SaaS product would include licensing as well as that service. We just provide the service. The Windchill licensing that you already have is what is installed and gives your users legal access to that environment. Does your cloud solution include licensing? No, again, because we're not a SaaS product. We are just that service. Your licensing gets installed on the system we've set up for you. Will you have real-time support when you need it? Absolutely. The ticket system lets us track that and have visibility to it. And again, we have staff both domestically in the U.S. as well as internationally, so that if your teams are across the globe, we can chase the clock with our team that is around the world as needed. Is cloud really cost effective? It certainly is, but also certainly you need to evaluate your business needs and requirements. When you look at the cost of the database licensing, when you look at the cost of maintaining hardware on site for yourself, replacing that hardware on a regular schedule, security updates, and then of course the availability of round-the-clock support staff. These are some of the cost-effective things that have driven a number of customers to cloud hosting as the best option. And last, can't I just purchase AWS or Azure space on my own and spin this up? Certainly. That's really like an on-premise solution. The question comes back to, how understaffed are you? If I like to say the world is understaffed. Does your team have the bandwidth to provide everything that an on-premise solution would make available? And that is part of the secret sauce that has made ETRAGE cloud hosting services successful for the last 18 years. Wrapping up, my contact information is here. Please do check our website frequently. We're posting a number of updates, not just around our product offerings that we have developed over the last 23 years, but also some new engagements, our recurring webinar series, and some of the locations where we'll be on site in upcoming trade shows. Again, Q&A, if that has come through, we'll be reaching out to people directly. And with that, we'll wrap up our webinar. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a productive rest of your day.